You know me. I
But
don't like stink.
well, this is the thing: is that it's not that you like to have it. Like people don't realize that I just don't sleep with this UFC belt. I don't go to the grocery store with it. I haven't had it for 2 weeks. Queen, my sponsor from my elite restaurant, has been hosting the belt and been
For real?
posting up and trying. Yeah, he's had it for 2 weeks. So it's actually just sitting in my living room on top of a suitcase that I haven't unpacked from 4 trips ago.
Damn.
So, but I just wanted to say that because some people just have the short term memory that I just took out the fighter of the year, a person that was nominated for an ESPY, that had the fight of the year against Roy McDonald, and can potentially be in position for the fight of the year with Carlos Condit early this year, January 2nd, for his title defense against him. So I just need some respect on my name.
Ain't that the truth, man? You definitely need a little respect on your name. But you know what? It's coming. It's definitely coming because
Yeah.
you know it comes down to this. Like it always seems like you like whatever you do is never enough. But
Ever.
you will have the opportunity to really do it in a couple of weeks. In a couple of weeks, it's just been announced. In a couple of weeks, I think you're gonna finally get your opportunity to get that respect on your name because I don't see how they can deny you after this next one.
But they will. They
I
will.
don't know, man.
And
It's impossible.
unfortunately, Stevie Wonderboy Thompson might get a whooping that he don't even deserve because of the foolery across the board. I'm not even gonna point fingers at who it is or whatever, but I have some extra ammunition. They just put me in this bad place where I just feel like some people are trying to ride on me. They're trying to steal on me, and I can't let that go down. So I'm putting some extra passion into training. And you know me, Dean. I don't need any extra motivation. Like nothing anybody can say to me. Oh, now I'm really going to kick your butt harder than what I planned on. My family,
Yeah.
my kids, and my legacy and my bank account wasn't enough to motivate me. But now that you called me out of my name, you really just motivated me to beat you. I've never needed that, nor do I now. But now I just really want to send a clear message, and I just want to Mark Hunt walk off knockouts.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you've had a quite a few of those. But here's the thing, and here's the thing about how it's evident that they don't respect you because at 5 of your last 6 fights, I think you were the underdog going into those. No, I think in all 6 of your last fights, you were the underdog
Yeah,
going in, and you won 5 of them.
yeah. Hey, you know what's
And
funny? I was an under I was an underdog going against Gaslam, and they said if he beat me, he was gonna fight for a title. After he missed weight by 10 pounds, miraculously, I went up to plus 110, which is basically for you betters out there. That's basically even almost.
yeah, but it's
So,
crazy how
so
like you were the underdog coming in, going into all your fights, and you won them all, and most of them, and you've been knocking guys out in the first round.
yeah,
It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
I've gotten one decision victory in my out of all my victories in the UFC. One has been by decision, and that was almost by choice. We as a team decided that we were going to showcase and shut up all the people that say, okay, if you get to later rounds, then he'll fade. And then I took Kelvin Gastelum in later rounds and started punching that belly, and he was huffing and puffing in my ear, so he was fading. But needless to say, we figured out if I stop doing strength and conditioning and come in leaner and meaner, people are going to say something about that. If I come in ripped up, people are always going to have something to say. I've never been trying to please people who don't train me, who don't support, who don't sacrifice for me, who doesn't live in my household and eat at the same table. So I'm not going to start now. I'm going out there. For you guys that don't know why we're on this crazy rant, I have officially announced on UFC pre-fight show this past weekend from the UFC in Hidalgo. I announced that I will be fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, UFC 205, Madison Square Garden in New York City. I will be taking him on to defend my UFC welterweight belt.
Yeah. Now, how hard was that for? I mean, you know, I think like a lot of people feel as though they had to like twist your arm in order to take this fight. Like, what was the process like of getting it to actually really materialize?
Number one, this fight's been accepted 6 weeks from now. So 6 weeks ago, mutual parties have agreed on this fight. That's the first thing. So for
Yeah.
I got. Hey, Dean, my man Dean. I got a heartfelt letter or a video from one of the fans and my fellow sister in Christ, and she said you need to start being a little bit more Christ-like. I get on the podcast and I hear you cursing. You kind of confuse me. What side you on? So I'm trying to tone down on that. I do blame Straight Outta Compton after that movie. The pottiness came back in my mouth. So back to the subject. A lot of fans were giving me, slack about not wanting to take the fight, being scared, dodging them, talking about the money fight. And they were doing all these things all while the fight had already been accepted. Now, I could have went and defended myself. I could have went on there like, no, I'm not scared of him. I already accepted the fight. But as you know, until the UFC wants to announce that fight for marketing purposes, we can't go out and announce the fight. So, therefore, I had to wait, endure all this undeserved slack.
Oh.
You knew it then. You knew I was fighting him. But it's like just to have to, you scared of him. You know he's going to beat you. You're going to have the shortest reign. And you're this, you're that. We all know. I'm thinking like, okay. And they just start brewing. Now I'm just to the position where I really want to hurt this kid. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Because he knew it. You knew I was fighting you. So why you going to sit there? Why you going to sit there and do these interviews talking about I was scared to fight you? Yeah, I'm scared. You think I'm scared. And you know I accepted the fight. Like, that's in the hood, we call that some, I can't say it, but something that begins with a B. BAN, ban. That's the acronym. You can fill in the blanks. It's the BAN.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, it is kind of foul, man. They're like, did everybody? I mean, it's hard. I know it had to be hard to endure, man. Knowing that you had accepted to fight this guy, and like you never declined it, and you did accept it, and then everybody's telling you that you're scared of him, and I mean, that's really
I I accepted the fight the first time they offered it to me.
Yeah.
When I was saying I wanted to fight for a money fight, that's what I meant. And guess what? I will be fighting for a money fight. All I was referring to, I think, is got misconstrued with all the, I don't want to fight the number one contender. Instead, I want to fight a super fight. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is that there's fighters out there currently that are fighting in non-title fights that are making more money than the actual champions. What does that say for what it means to wear the UFC championship belt? You're fighting tougher fighters. You're fighting more rounds, and you're going to be paid less than someone that's fighting in a non-title fight. Even Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt. Even, I'm not just going straight towards Conor and Nate. Like, I personally think Nate was fighting for $16,000 the fight before Conor. Do I really want to hate on him for making what he should make? No. I was actually pretty damn happy for the kid.
Yeah.
But with that said, me as a champion, I got to look at the whole thing across the board. I see a lot of guys being paid, more than the champions, and it's not even all about pay. My thing was a two-part deal, and it was two birds, one stone. If I fought Georges St. Pierre, the best welterweight that's ever fought in the octagon, that's a legacy stamp. Nick Diaz, and I'm repeating myself for you guys that watched the last show. I apologize, but Nick Diaz is forever a top 10 welterweight. So when I start listing off my wins, I got a win over Paul Daly, Josh Koscheck, Carlos Condit, Robbie Lawler, Stevie. Oh, that don't even sound like it's in the same category. It don't sound like Georges St. Pierre, Nick Diaz. Now, granted, he's the number one contender. I never declined that he was that. He's the only one that's ever reduced me and my skill and what I brought to the table and what I've done. He's reduced that. I've never reduced him. I've never not given him credit. But what he's done is he's disrespected me, and I don't respect him as a man because he knew we were fighting. He constantly tried to reduce me. Oh, I don't know what Robbie was thinking. Or he could have just said, Tyron came out with a great game plan. He executed. Man, he put on a great show. He took out the number one fighter, the best fighter of the year last year in the UFC. Wow, I'm excited to fight this guy. That I respect. But when you do that and you start you keep talking about the later rounds and he don't fight well in this direction, it just gave me a bad taste. It feels like he's fake humble. Feels like he's overly entitled. And I'm going to expose all that.